Erwin Schrödinger is celebrated as one of the most influential physicists of the 20th century, primarily known for his formulation of wave mechanics and the eponymous Schrödinger equation, which remains foundational in quantum physics. Beyond the limelight of his scientific achievements lies a more shadowed realm of his intellectual pursuits, Schrödinger's darker philosophy. This aspect of his thinking grapples with profound existential questions, the paradox of consciousness, and humanity's often unsettling place within the universe. The scientist and the philosopher. Schrödinger was not merely a scientist constrained by empirical boundaries, he was also a philosopher deeply intrigued by the metaphysical implications of his work. He believed that the boundaries between science and philosophy were artificial, and that true understanding required an exploration of both. This duality allowed him to approach questions that many of his contemporaries either avoided or relegated to the realm of speculation. His philosophical writings reveal a thinker preoccupied with the nature of reality, the illusion of individuality, and the meaning, or lack thereof, inherent in human existence. These reflections often extended beyond his scientific work, drawing on ideas from Eastern philosophy and Western existentialism. Schrödinger's approach demonstrated a willingness to confront the deepest and most unsettling truths about human life and the universe at large. The paradox of consciousness. One of Schrödinger's most striking philosophical contributions is his exploration of consciousness. He viewed consciousness as a fundamental, indivisible phenomenon, a perspective that sharply contrasts with the materialistic and reductionist views held by many scientists of his era. In his book What is Life?, Schrödinger posed profound questions about the nature of the self. He suggested that the division between subject and object, between observer and observed, is an illusion. Consciousness, in his view, is not confined to individual minds but is a unified field experienced through countless perspectives. Schrödinger wrote, "The plurality that we perceive is only an appearance, it is not real." Vedantic philosophy has sought to express this idea with the adage, tat tvam asi, you are that. This realization dissolves the boundaries of the self, leaving one to grapple with the idea that individuality is not real but a construct of our perception. While this perspective is spiritually uplifting for some, it also carries a darker implication, the loss of individuality and the ego, concepts that anchor much of Western identity. The existential void. Schrödinger's philosophical musings often edge toward existential despair. The deterministic nature of the Schrödinger equation itself reflects a universe governed by probabilities and wave functions, devoid of intrinsic purpose or meaning. If the fabric of reality is governed by cold mathematics, what room is there for human desires, aspirations, or morality? His reflections often verge on nihilism, echoing the sentiments of philosophers like Friedrich Nietzsche and Arthur Schopenhauer. Schrödinger seemed to recognize the bleakness of a universe in which life is but a fleeting emergence of order in a sea of entropy. The second law of thermodynamics, which predicts the inevitable increase of disorder, loomed large in his thinking, casting human existence as a brief, fragile moment of clarity amidst chaos. While he found solace in the idea of unity and the interconnectedness of all things, this did little to alleviate the stark reality of human mortality and insignificance. Schrödinger's existential void is not just a scientific abstraction but a deeply personal reckoning with the ultimate futility of human effort in the face of an indifferent universe. Schrödinger's cat, a metaphor for existential uncertainty. The famous Schrödinger's cat thought experiment, though intended as a critique of quantum superposition interpretations, carries deeper existential undertones. The scenario describes a cat that is simultaneously alive and dead until observed, emphasizing the indeterminate nature of quantum states. While this was designed to highlight the paradoxes of quantum mechanics, it also resonates on a philosophical level. In many ways, the thought experiment reflects the human condition. We exist in a state of uncertainty, suspended between life and death, meaning and absurdity. Observation, or consciousness, collapses our possibilities into reality, but that reality often defies our expectations or desires. Schrödinger's cat becomes a symbol for the ambiguous and often paradoxical nature of existence itself. It forces us to confront the limits of our understanding and the unsettling realization that reality is shaped as much by our perceptions as by any objective truth. The duality of the cat's state mirrors the duality of our own existence, oscillating between hope and despair, purpose and futility. Influences from Eastern philosophy. Schrödinger's fascination with Vedanta and other Eastern philosophies further deepens the somber hue of his worldview. Vedantic teachings often emphasize the illusory nature of the self and the material world, Maya, advocating for the realization of a singular, universal consciousness, Brahman. These ideas resonated with Schrödinger's scientific observations, particularly the interconnectedness suggested by quantum mechanics. For Schrödinger, the Vedantic concept of tattvam asi, you are that, encapsulated a profound truth: the self is not separate from the universe but is an expression of it. While these ideas inspired Schrödinger, they also underscored his view of the individual as transient and insignificant in the grand scheme of existence. The dissolution of the self into a greater whole can be a source of spiritual solace, but it also carries a profound sense of loss for those who cling to the notion of individuality. This convergence of scientific inquiry and Eastern philosophy led Schrödinger to propose that the true nature of reality is beyond human comprehension. The world of appearances, with its dichotomies of life and death, self and other, is a veil over a deeper, unfathomable unity. For many, this perspective evokes awe and mystery, but it also invites a profound sense of alienation from the tangible world. Mortality and the illusion of time. Another recurring theme in Schrödinger's darker philosophy is the concept of time. Drawing from both physics and metaphysics, he questioned the linear progression of time as we perceive it. In quantum mechanics, time often appears as a parameter rather than an absolute entity. Similarly, Eastern philosophies challenge the notion of chronological time, suggesting that it is an illusion. For Schrödinger, this raised troubling implications about mortality. If time is not real, then neither is the continuity of the self. Life and death become arbitrary distinctions in a timeless reality. This idea challenges the comforting narrative of a beginning, middle, and end to human existence, replacing it with an eternal now that offers little solace to those seeking purpose or closure. This perspective aligns with his scientific understanding of the universe as a system governed by laws that operate independently of human perception. The passage of time, as experienced by living beings, is a construct of consciousness rather than an objective feature of the cosmos. While this insight deepens our understanding of the universe, it also underscores the transient and illusory nature of human experience. The cosmic abyss. Schrödinger's reflections on the universe reveal a profound tension between wonder and dread. The vastness of the cosmos, governed by impersonal laws and populated by indifferent stars, serves as a stark backdrop to human life. He acknowledged the beauty and elegance of the natural world but was acutely aware of its indifference to human concerns. This duality is perhaps best captured in his observation that the universe operates as a harmonious whole, yet that harmony is devoid of intent or meaning. Humanity, in Schrödinger's view, is a fleeting phenomenon, a temporary ripple in an endless ocean. This perspective can be both humbling and deeply unsettling. The cosmic abyss represents the ultimate confrontation with the unknown, a confrontation that both inspires and terrifies. Schrödinger's work reminds us that while we are part of the cosmos, we are also profoundly alienated from its deeper truths. The more we understand about the universe, the more we are forced to reckon with its indifference to our existence. Finding meaning in the absurd. Despite the darker undertones of his philosophy, Schrödinger did not entirely abandon the search for meaning. He found solace in the interconnectedness of all life and the unity of consciousness. For Schrödinger, the realization that individuality is an illusion could lead to a sense of liberation and oneness with the universe. This duality, the tension between existential despair and spiritual transcendence, defines much of Schrödinger's philosophical legacy. His writings challenge us to confront the unsettling truths of existence while simultaneously inviting us to embrace a broader perspective that transcends the self. By recognizing the unity of all things, Schrödinger suggested that we might find purpose not in individual achievement but in the shared experience of being. This perspective offers a form of meaning that transcends the personal, grounding us in the collective reality of existence itself. Conclusion: the legacy of Schrödinger's dark philosophy. Erwin Schrödinger's darker philosophy serves as a reminder of the profound questions that lie at the intersection of science and human existence. His reflections force us to grapple with uncomfortable truths about the nature of reality, consciousness, and our place in the universe. While his ideas often verge on nihilism, they also offer a path toward transcendence, an opportunity to look beyond the illusions of individuality and meaning and embrace a deeper, more universal perspective. Schrödinger's legacy is not just one of scientific achievement but also a philosophical inquiry that continues to inspire and challenge us to this day.